IGT, baby.
What's cracking, y'all? It's your boy Junior Mafia coming back to you with another video. So I just finished watching Saturday Night Main Event, and you know, it was an okay show, you know, in my opinion and whatnot. It was some good things that I want to talk about with some of the matches and whatnot, and especially, you know, before the main event match, we had a special announcement from John Cena regarding his final opponent. So we'll get into that, but I'm gonna try to go through the matches and all that stuff and give my personal thoughts on what I saw and what's gonna be like going on moving forward. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So we had the undisputed WWE Championship match to kick off the show. Cody Rhodes taking on Drew McIntyre, and the stipulation being, if Cody gets disqualified, you know, or get counted out, he lose the championship. You know, that's something that he agreed with Drew on SmackDown. You know, when they had their contract signed, and Drew didn't want to sign it because he felt like it would be lopsided if Cody was to get himself disqualified like the last time they had a championship match, and then he still retains the title. So to make it fair, you know, for Drew to sign, he said, listen, if I disqualify myself and whatever the case may be, I'll lose the title. He said, I don't have a problem with that. So that's how that match, you know, come into play and stuff like that. And yeah, so as it happened, they make the interest and all. And as Lilian Garcia was, you know, making announcements, you know, of the challengers, the champion, all that stuff, you see Drew tells her to call him the real American Dream. And you know that right there was going to trigger Cody Rhodes. You know, ever since he told him in that promo on SmackDown yesterday, you know it was going to be the same exact mentality he had. So, bell rings, and match get on his way. So, there was a lot of back and forth between Cody and Drew. You know, you see Drew McIntyre try to pull the Cody tactics where he was trying to pretty much bite him and all that, similar to what Cody did to him, you know, in their championship match. A lot of good spots and all. Like, it was a very, very, very good match. And I'm going to fast forward, you know, towards the middle and the tail end of it, because that's when it really started getting interesting. So there was a spot outside of the announce table where Drew put Cody through the table, and as it's happening, you see the ref do the count, and remind you, like I said, if Cody gets counted out, that he agreed upon. If that happens, he's dropping the title. So you see him, and he's struggling to get up. So when the ref gets to I think 7, you start to see Cody get on his feet, he's moving, gets into the ring and stuff like that. So now Drew is pissed, and he goes on full attack mode and stuff like that. And Cody's able to capitalize. Then there was another spot where Cody was about to do the they call it a super cutter, you know, but his knee kind of gave out on him a bit. And, you know, Drew gonna look at it to take advantage of it. And Cody ended up capitalizing. So he went up there, does the super cutter and all that, and then proceeds to try to hit the crossroads. But the way how it happened, and the ref was in the corner and stuff like that, as Cody tried to hit the crossroads, Drew was there to counter it and push the ref onto the turnbuckle, and he ended up being knocked out for certain parts of the match. So as that happened, of course, Drew liked to take advantage of it, you know, able to get the upper hand over Cody, goes outside the ring, proceeds to get the title. So now in this case, he gets it, ref's still knocked out. He looking to hit Cody with it. Cody was able to duck away, and he has a crossroads on him. So as it's happening, Cody looks at the title, and as he's about to proceeds to throw it away and all that, you see him and Drew kind of tussle over it. Right when you're about to pick him up. So Cody looked at that as an opportunity. Say, you know what? I'm gonna hit a DDT. I'm gonna hit him with the DDT with the title. So as he's done that, that's what everybody shocked, because again, this is something Cody's doing, using kind of heel tactics to get the win. Some things we didn't see Cody do ever. So as he hits the DDT on the Drew McIntyre with the title, he gets the title out of the ring, lifts Drew's up, hits him with a crossroads, and cover him for the 1, for the 2, for the 3, and he retains the title. And I kind of expected this to turn out, for Cody, only because in WWE's logic, if you get beaten up before your match on a PLE, whatever the case is, you're going to win. It's rarely occasions where you see situations like that where they get packed up, and then the next day, when they had their match, they end up losing a title as well, or whatever the case is. It's very rare you've seen that, but based off of how Drew was pretty much talking his shit and all that on Friday Night SmackDown and stuff, and say, I promise you, like, I'm going to do damage to you, and I'm going to walk out as the new undisputed WWE champion, it kind of gave you that feeling like, yeah, Drew ain't going to win this. And despite the match being like that fucking good, we knew the outcome was going to be. Like, there's no way to slice that at all. So now it makes me believe who will be Cody's next opponent. But more so, are we going to get more into details about what happened with Jacob Fatu? Like, we still need some answers behind it. So we'll see what goes on. But that was a good way to kick off the show, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Next, we had the WWE Women's Championship on the line. Tiffany Stratton taking on Jade Cargill. And this match was all right for me and whatnot. I definitely loved the finish of it, but overall the match was okay, because as it started, Tiffany goes on attack now on Jade, and she's not wasting any time now. Now, granted, she's still dealing with that knee situation after what Jade Cargill did to her 2 weeks ago. So Tiffany was able to get a little bit of offense in throughout the match, but with her and with Jade Cargill targeting that knee, that was a fair advantage for her to pretty much be in full control. And that's exactly what happened. I feel like most of the match, Jade Cargill has been in the driver's seat for the most part, looking very dominant. And, in closing, she was able to put Tiffany Stratton back into the ring and whatnot, hit the Jaded on her and cover for the 1, the 2, and the 3. And she became the new Women's World Champion, which, in my opinion, was the right call. Some people thought that, Tiffany Stratton would retain only because, for this to not to be like a PLE or so much of a house show being live, so to speak, that they would still keep the title on Tiffany Stratton. But in my opinion, I said this was the right call to do, only because, with your women's division being razor thin, not a lot of good, competitors from Tiffany Stratton's standpoint, because she damn near beat all of them. And more so, you're looking at Jade Cargill, you can't have her take another loss, because they first meeting around at SummerSlam, she lost that triple threat match she had, with her, Jade Cargill, and Nia Jax. Jay lost that as well. So it's like the third time going into this, you can't do that. And Jade being a heel in this situation was the right call. So I feel like all the pieces fell in place right now. And I feel like Jade being now the Women's World Champion, or the Women's Champion, definitely opens up more like fresh matches and stuff like that. They're going to have a rematch, between the two anyway. But this should be able to bring new light, into the women's division on SmackDown, knowing you have a new champion, and now you can be able to see who could be the next competitor for Jade. Because I'm gonna tell you now, she's gonna make that title interesting. You know, I feel like she got better with her promos. You know, now seeing her heel gimmick now, it's like it's gonna open a lot of eyes, and she's definitely gonna make a lot of noise. So something I'm gonna pay very close attention to. I hope they do right by her, and we'll see how things turns out. But this was the right call. The match was but the winner was the right thing. So get credit when the credit is due and whatnot. So there's that. Next, we had the triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship, and it was Dominic taking on Penta versus Rusev. And started this match, Rusev and Penta ain't waiting no time and stomped the shit out of out of Dominic and all that. And then, of course, turned their attention to each other and started beating each other up. So it was very fast paced, you know, from start. It kind of like simmered down a bit towards the middle of it, and then the end, that's when it started picking up. So it was a situation. It was a spot towards the like the middle of or the like the end of the match where you see well, I'm trying to blink. Oh yeah. So you had Penta who was jumping on, or he stepped on Rusev's back and hit this Mexican driver on a Dominic, which I feel like was a very good spot that happens, and it took Dominic out of the equation. And then so attention was on like Rusev and Penta. So they had their little back and forth thing. Rusev was trying to hit a monster kick, ended up getting countered, you know, by Penta. And when Penta went on top of the top rope, you know, I think hit a top rope move, you know, Rusev was able to counter it with a monster kick, and then of course trying to lock in the accolade. So as he locking it in, you hear the bell ring. So he's thinking that he's winning and stuff like that. And the ref, like, remember, the ref didn't make a call. So he thinking like, all right, what's really going on? Till you look and you see Dominic kind of ringing the bell like with this hammer. So Rusev had enough, came out of the ring, grabs Dominic, throws him over the barricade and all this stuff. Now, granted, he still has the hammer in his hand. So he puts him in the ring and all that, he drops it. And then they go on the opposite side of the ring. They go in at it, blase. So this was Dominic's way to take advantage of a Rusev, which he did. And when he went into the ring to grab a hammer, you see Penta stops him. So as that's happening, and now with Penta having that hammer and all that stuff, and like he about to strike Dominic duck, and Penta ended up hitting Rusev. So after knocking him out with it, you see Dominic takes Penta, you know, throws him towards the corner and all that, where he ended up hitting the ring post, and he's knocked out of the equation. So Dominic, in this case, you know, take advantage of it. Gonna go up on the top rope, hits the far splash on the Rusev, and cover him for the 1, the 2, and the 3, and he retains the title and all. So I kind of expected him to retain it, only because I didn't see him dropping it until somebody really, like, you know, takes the title from him. You know, I don't know who, but I feel like there can be some good candidates to do so, you know, down the line. But I think this was the right call for Dominic to retain it and all. And I feel like if he do lose it, he got to lose it on the PLE, something like Survivor Series. You know, that's just my personal thought. So there was that. Match was very solid. You know, I definitely enjoyed it for what it was. Very good pacing, all this other stuff. So there's that. Now, I want to talk about what happened with John Cena and announcing his final opponent. So we got this video package, and he pretty much explaining, you know, about some of the matches he had in his career, very good opponents he faced and all that. And then the main question being, who's going to be his last opponent for his final match within a month. So he said he couldn't get an answer, but he has a tournament, and the tournament is gonna go down at Boston. So you have a mixed competitors of Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and some people who wasn't in the company or is not with the company anymore. And that raised a whole lot of eyebrows now because it's like, wait a minute. And I had a lot of rumors speculating it could be Chris Jericho or it can be Edge. So leaving those kind of predictions there makes this a whole lot interesting now. And the fact that they're competing in the tournament to face Cena in his final match, next month, of course, that's going to be must watch. This tournament is going to be must watch. And I'm definitely looking forward to it now. We still don't know who it's going to be, but I feel like if done right, they reveal those opponents who's not with the company. They will reveal them, once they get to that Raw when they do the tournament. That's what I'm looking forward to. But that was very interesting to hear because now it pretty much raised the stakes of who it could potentially be and who's going to come out of that as the winner, to face Cena. So I'm looking forward to it. I was excited to hear that. It caught a lot of people by surprise, including me, and all that. And something that you really want to, be in tune for, when that time comes. So I'm looking forward to it and all that. So I can't wait. So now we get to the main event, and there's Jey Uso taking on CM Punk for the vacant World Heavyweight Championship. And I'm not gonna lie, the first 5 minutes of the match was on autopilot. It was like, okay, and stuff like that. I had a spot where Punk hit a GTS on to Jey Uso, and he ended up rolling up out of the ring and stuff like that. And that's when he started to get like some offense in, same with Jay. But it really didn't start picking up and towards the end of it. Like a lot of stuff went down. You had a spot when they was outside of the ring, and actually no, it was inside the ring, and you see Jay ends up hitting the super kick, of course, the spear into the Uso splash, to where Punk kicked out of it when he went for the pinfall. So Punk gets up, and of course, in this case, he's gonna hit a GTS, and first he connected with it, and then he went over to the pin. Jay's kicking out of it. So at this point, Jay gets on the attack on Punk, and it's to the point where Punk is out of the ring. So he looked at that as his opportunity to come out of there and run around and spears the shit out of CM Punk, through the barricade and stuff like that. Even the ref had to stop the count, went in there to check on them to make sure they was good. And Jay looked at this as an opportunity to get Punk to run the ring, go up to hit the Uso splash on him and to cover him for the 1, the 2, Punk kicks out. So now at this point right now, Jay's like, all right, I got to pull all stops now. So this man proceeds to pick Punk up to try to hit the GTS on him, hits it, then CM Punk hits his own version of a spear on him. Hits his own version of a spear, and when it looks like at that moment there, when Punk gets him up, hits him with the GTS, and he, drop down, to his knees, and you see Jay coming off the ropes slowly, and he landed on Punk's shoulders. Punk trying to get him up, and he ended up stumbling to it. Jay countered it into the sleeper hole. The same thing he locked on Gunther to win the title. So at this point now, you're thinking okay, match about to be pretty much over at this point, and Jay was able to get out of it. No, Punk was able to get out of it and locked in the ending kind of vice. So he locks that in and all that stuff. And at this point now, you think Jay about to attack. Jay ended up countering out of that, and was able to go on the full attack mode on the Punk afterwards. So he kept hitting him with a multiple of super kicks and stuff like that. Hit him with a spear and all that. And right when he's about to go up to hit the Uso splash again, Punk gets his knees up. And as he does that, you know, he gets up, hits him with a GTS, and the same thing applied where he dropped down and Jay gets off the ropes, he's dazed and all that, and he landed on CM Punk's shoulders again. And this time around, when that happened, CM Punk was able to connect the second GTS on him and cover him for the 1, for the 2, for the 3, and now we have a new World Heavyweight Champion in CM Punk. And I feel like, again, this was the right call to do because wholeheartedly, I think when it comes down to Punk having a title, it was only briefly known because we seen after he beat Gunther at SummerSlam to win the World Heavyweight Champion, of course, celebration got ended with Seth Rollins. And all I say, he really never had his time to really celebrate or let alone defend it at that. So, this was the right call for him to do, and it was good to see that. More often than not, think we're gonna see a Jay heel turn real soon. You know, that's definitely bound to happen, especially him losing the way he did, clean. You know, it's a whole lot that's gonna be talked about. So we'll wait to see how things goes down. We know this for sure that LA Knight is next up to face CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Champion, because he said whether it's Punk or Jay, don't matter. I'm next in line. Like, bump everybody else. Like, you know, I'm really gonna get the title. So I think it's gonna be very interesting to see Punk and LA Knight go at it, you know, and all that stuff. So we'll see how this turns out. But overall, this was a solid show. You know, if I had to give it a rating, I'd give it like a 6.5, you know, out of 10, maybe close to 7. And that's only because of the whole announcement for John Cena, you know, with the tournament and stuff like that, to determine who's gonna face him in his final match at Sunday main event in December 13th. So that I'm looking forward now. But it was a very solid show and whatnot. And yeah, comment down below. Let me know what you think about Saturday main event. What was your favorite part of the match of the show? And, you know, what would you rate it and all that stuff? And are you interested to see this 16-man tournament to determine who's going to face John Cena at Saturday main event for his final match? So you let me know down in the comments down below. But I appreciate your love and support. Road to 200 subscribers. Continue to keep God first. Trust the process of anything that you do in life. Your time will come. And I'm going to catch you on the next video. Peace.